Okay, so if you ever want to talk to me, just yell at me because I got these new speakers and we're good to go. So we'll try it like this and see what happens. All right. Hi, kitties. Man, 2 in a row. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that.
It was. Was it faulty anywhere? Was it?
I know there was one, so I left at 7:50, and it was fine.
Oh man.
I didn't.
Oh
I was
man.
I woke up at like 7, and I was like, oh crap, I slept for my alarms, and then I was like, wait a second, nobody called me to wake me up.
That's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, Greta didn't know either. She got here and she was like, "Oh yeah, that's crazy." All right, let me take attendance here real quick, and then we'll get down to business. That's an interesting nickname. All right, so. All right, so here's where we left off. And hey, Jeremiah, you might want to watch the video from yesterday. It's short because we weren't here that long, but we did go over some big picture kind of items. But let's do a quick little review-sies about that from yesterday. So we're doing the nitrogen cycle. Okay, we spent a lot of time on the nitrogen cycle. We're not going to play the Kahoot. I did go ahead and give you the answers to all the Kahoot stuff, and you should be able to look at that at some point. But remember, we've got the atmospheric fixation. We've got the biological fixation, which is in the ground, and then we've got. Sorry, I didn't realize the bell hadn't rung. And then we've got the one that they talked about a little bit in the video, which is that industrial fixation. And we would not be able to feed, 7 billion people, let alone maybe even 4 billion people with that amount of nitrogen that's in the atmosphere. So the Haber-Bosch process there in the early 1900s. Remember, they were able to take iron as a catalyst and then make fertilizer. Okay, so we make all that in the lab, and fertilizer is not cheap, okay, at all. Okay, those big things of anhydrous, those big white things you see the tractors pulling we're talking, $5,000 for one of those, and I don't know how long that lasts. Can you give me any insight on that? Okay, yeah.
You like 10 per day.
10 per day. What's that mean?
Once the tractor uses them, and you take them back and fill it in. Take that. You probably go through like 10 per day. Depending on how big.
You have to go refill it 10 times in one day?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But is it just like $5,000 for that, like for the day then?
I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not that cool.
Can you ask someone? Can you find out? Like, I'm curious, and some people don't like this sort of stuff, like they don't want to share financial information, but I would love to know, like, how much a North Manchester farmer spends on fertilizer a year. Yeah, text him. Yeah, it's got to be enormous, right?
Yeah, like it's only like a 1% return on farm with all your profit after you're done.
You make nothing.
Yeah. Oh no, man! You guys are loaded, right? Farmers are all loaded. We got in a big. It was all funny last year. Clay Little's in class. He was my resident farmer, and he loved to make fun of Tom Farms in Warsaw area. You know Tom Farms? I guess they're ginormous. And I finally this summer was driving some country roads up there trying to get to the Frog from Walmart. So we took all these back roads, and there was a sign, Tom Farms. I was like, oh my God, I finally seen it. So I took a picture and sent it to Clay and said, Tom's better than you. No. All right. Yeah, let me know what your dad says. All right. So we got the nitrogen. Okay. We know that legumes will fix that. What's fix mean? Yeah, we're gonna make it usable, right? Because I can't just suck in air, right? And there's not a little thing inside my body that's going to be like, I'm going to convert that nitrogen into amino acids, right? Doesn't work that way. Okay. And so we need to get that from our food. We need to get that from other things. And we know that legumes can do that. We also know that there's soil bacteria. There's just bacteria in the ground. And that bacteria is taking either death, like, you know, or waste, and then converting that into something usable, or sending that back up into the atmosphere. We call that denitrification, right? So there's a crazy cycle. Now, do you remember the movie that I showed on Friday? There was like I know it was like right at the end of the period, but it showed like how in the ocean, if there's a bunch of death, that means there's a bunch of bacteria. If there's a bunch of bacteria, they're going to take all this. You're making me nervous. They're going to take all this oxygen away, but then produce nitrogen, and that goes back up into the atmosphere and creates greenhouse. It's a greenhouse gas, and it increases global warming. So we've got to figure out a balance for, you know, the amount of nitrogen that we're placing on the fields, and this isn't nitrogen that we're worried about here. What's the one that we're worried about here? Phosphorus, right? And phosphorus comes from where? Rocks, right? Okay. So I don't know if you need this picture printed off. Like you could tell me later. Okay. This is the only cycle that's not in the atmosphere. Okay. Please know that was on an FRQ 3 years ago. The phosphorus cycle is not in atmospheric, okay? Water's atmospheric, right? We got rain. How do we get nitrogen down? Nitric acid, right, comes down from the rain. So that the hydrologic cycle, that's atmospheric. Carbon cycle, that's definitely atmospheric, right? We're still at around 412 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, warming our planet. Okay, nitrogen, well, I already said nitrogen. Phosphorus is not, though. Phosphorus, literally, you're coming from rocks. And I just still, anytime, you know, after I saw that movie, I still have that image of those. Hey, welcome back, by the way. Did you have a good visit? Cool. That rain cloud, that Amazonian rain cloud hitting the Andes, and then just all that stuff coming down, right? Okay, phosphorus, incredibly important. Okay, for this, but it's also in waste. You guys know Nick Kopke? Wrestlers might know Nick Kopke. He was a wrestling coach for a while. I think he worked with Maggart. He owns a business in town, and his slogan is, "Your number 2 is my number 1." Okay, what does that mean? Yeah, he spreads manure, right? And he's making pretty good money off of that. And in our area, we have tons of available manure. Why do we have, in our area, of all other areas, why do we have tons? Hog farms, chicken farms, and beef. We got some beef too, right? And there's something just north of us that's huge too. I think Mike Schlitt here, I'm sure he's talked about it. Has he talked about this? No, not farming. He hasn't brought up farming yet?
No.
His daughter married the son of the guy that started Maple Leaf Farms. You guys know what Maple Leaf Farms make? What? Nobody knows this? It's the #1 producer, I believe, in the country of this, ducks. Yeah, duck farmers, right? And there's some that trickle down in this area. I think there's some duck barns, I think just out west of town. Okay, or they used to be. Right, so all those confined animal feeding operations or concentrated animal feeding operations, that poop goes into lagoons. Okay, those lagoons get spread on the ground. Okay, we can pump them out, we can spread them out on people's fields. How many people have taken a dump in town, like out of your butt? Show of hands, anybody? Okay, all right. So even, how about you country folk? Okay, you taking a dump in town? Poop? You taking a poop in town? Is everybody taking a poop in town? Is there anybody that's never taken a poop in the city limits of North Manchester? What is that?
Can't poop anywhere but home.
Is this true?
No, my dad
Yeah, I know some people that have that, right? I knew a guy.
Wherever, David, I don't care.
All right. So I'm just assuming now, since nobody's showing their hands, okay, that everybody's taking a dump in town. Okay, where does your poop go in town? Does anybody know where your poop goes in town? Okay, where's that? It goes in the sewer. Okay, but where does it end up?
The river.
Okay, it can end up in the river. Okay, right? But we don't want it to.
Take it out of the water.
Okay, they filter out of the water. Where is that located? Anybody know? Yeah.
South.
In Lily's Hood, right? Okay, South Maple Street. Okay, and all of your poop go, what? All your poop goes there. Okay, remember we had that rainstorm? Was it three Fridays ago? Was it 3 Fridays ago? It was crazy. It was like all the practices we were like, it was senior night. Senior night. Remember after school from like 3:30, okay, till like 4, it dumped, right? If you took a poop that day, your poop ended up in the river. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, because our wastewater system couldn't handle that, right? We got another resident expert in here. You're not talking. We can try to be quiet about that. All right, so it's in. So I didn't want to pick on it. So South Maple Street, right? That's where all your poop goes. Okay, we have a combined sewer system so that it can't handle it if it gets to a certain number, because all of that rainwater is going down all the drains in the road. All of that still goes to South Maple Street. Okay, and then boom, it goes to the river. Okay, now behind that plant there are 2 big lagoons. Okay, and those 2 big lagoons hold your poop for the entire year. Once a year they hire somebody to come in and suck out those lagoons, and then they knife it into a field that the town owns just right outside of town, and they plant corn and beans. So your turds, okay, and the phosphorus that's in there, okay, in your waste has fertilized food. Wouldn't it be cool if you actually ate some of that corn? You probably didn't eat the corn, but maybe you ate some beef that ate the corn that was fertilized from your poop. Yeah, sorry, man. No, it's cool stuff. One time, the wastewater folks did tell me that there was a giant marijuana plant that was growing in the middle of the lagoon. And I was like, well, what'd you do? Did you like call the cops? And they're like, no, we just want to see some idiot would actually like swim out there to get, because think about it, man. Somebody flushed some seeds down in the toilet, right? Probably a college kid, right? College, right? And that poop fertilized it. I've been at wastewater treatment plants where, like, I've seen these operators just pull tomatoes right off the plant and eat them in front of me, because the tomato seeds became germinated in the poop, right? It's great fertilizer. Your turds are great fertilizer. We'll go visit that, hopefully, if we're not homebound by in April. All right, so here's another picture of all the stuff that I just talked about. Let's just talk just briefly about the sulfur cycle. So this rock that I have is coal. This coal is right now being burned in southern Indiana, and not this one, right? Okay, but this coal has these little orange stripes in it, and these orange stripes are sulfur. And we talked a little bit about this. If you've ever been to, you guys all been to Camp Mac? Did you guys go to Camp Mac in like 6th grade or something like that, or 5th grade? Oh, you went to Camp Crossley. Anybody been to Camp Mac? Okay, Camp Mac. If you ever go to Camp Mac, you turn on the water faucets at Camp Mac, you're gonna get slapped in the face with some rotten egg smell. That's because they have their aquifer is surrounded by rock that has sulfur. Okay, and sulfur is an important thing, but I will tell you that it causes problems if we get sulfur in the atmosphere and combines with oxygen and combines with rain. That's what acid rain is all about. Sulfur equals acid rain. And we'll talk more about that cycle later. Okay, and here's the picture. There you go. All right, what time are we out of here? 37. Let's stop right there, and we'll talk about restoration ecology tomorrow. Thanks for joining me, guys.
What happened in California when volcano goes on?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about natural air pollutants, but You know, like I talked to my friend last night who's in Oregon. Their bags are packed. They don't know if they're gonna have to evacuate. Have you guys seen the pictures of the sun and it's like yellow out there? You haven't seen the pictures? Oh my God, it's like orange. Here we go. Skies in California. Look at these pictures. This is all happening right now. This was like yesterday. So I got some friends out there. These are all the photos that I was seeing, not only in California, but Oregon. This is all a direct result of wildfires in California and Oregon. Okay, I know it's pretty freaky what's happening. Yeah, there's the San Francisco Bay Bridge yesterday. Here's northern parts of California. Also Oregon, same kind of thing. It's pretty nuts. And all those are particulates, you know, like, so, I mean, I love a pretty sunset, but when you get, you know, those sunsets, that's all because of light, you know, interacting with some sort of particulate in the air. Look at this. Oregon skies right now. This is pretty insane, right? So yeah, my friend lives in Eugene, which is south of Portland, Oregon, and the town just north of them evacuated yesterday. So they're like, we don't know what to do. At first, they were kind of like, oh, these skies are really cool, but then they're like, crap, our house could burn down, right? So yeah, pretty nutty. Any questions from the home kids? Thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. Peace out. Okay, bye. Thanks for joining us, Jeremiah, too. See ya.